Hi everyone, I'm Sandy Almendarez, and look who I've got with me. This is Bill Giebler. I'm sure you have seen him on a stage recently. We are at SupplySide West, Food Ingredients in North America 2022, where Bill was on many a stage. We are at SupplySide Studio on SupplySide TV. Very fun, lots of supply sides.
say SupplySide.
SupplySide.
Welcome to
You
SupplySide.
say Supply. Oh, you did it too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining. Did I say your title already? Content and Insights Director for
That's
Nutrition
right.
Business Journal. So we, as I've mentioned, you're all over our education. So thank you so much for all of the work that you and your NBJ and Next friends are doing for us. You're on microbiome, nootropics, sports nutrition, food tech, immunity, and just general trends.
Yes. Food tech, you got food tech, yeah. I didn't do all of those, but yeah, that's where NBJ is on the various stages this week.
Yeah, okay, but you're doing 4 of those.
I'm doing 4 of them.
So that's
3 down, 1 to go.
4 divided by 6, lots, like 66%.
It's basically me. No, but Claire Morton Reynolds, our senior industry analyst, has been on stage sharing one of those with me, and then doing one of her own presentations on immune health. And Rick Polito, editor-in-chief of NBJ, is on stage tomorrow for the sports.
And you said NBJ. What is that?
Nutrition Business Journal. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's talk about. So what presentations have you already done?
I have done the microbiome one.
Okay.
And,
top hits.
Top hits from microbiome?
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting market for microbiome. It's been a rough road for probiotics specifically. Prebiotics have entered the marketplace. They're growing rapidly, but they're about sub 6% of the probiotic, prebiotic, symbiotic, postbiotic marketplace. So fast growth on less than 150 million in sales. But what's really interesting, I think, is the symbiotics. Consumers are getting symbiotics. So probiotics are going into negative growth for the next few years, according to our projections. But symbiotics have fairly substantial positive growth. I believe it's above overall supplement industry growth. So symbiotics is the name of the game for the biotics.
So if I'm a probiotic company, I might hear that with some heartbreak.
You sure might, yeah. It's not a pretty story for a probiotic company if you're committed to only being a probiotic company. But there is opportunity to bring in the food, feed those probiotics in the gut, and then you've got a symbiotic and you're in a high growth category all of a sudden. And I think that's true for a lot of these folks. It's at least true on the brand side. The brands have an easier opportunity to combine those ingredients, whereas if you're a probiotic manufacturer, it's maybe a little harder to make that pivot, but I think it's an important pivot.
But I mean, we shouldn't lose sight that symbiotics are probiotics, so it's not like, I mean, that is growing. So, okay, but like not even related to microbiome, and we can get back to that, but like in Nutrition Business Journal, Next Data, sometimes you are delivering news that's like, this category is going down. Like how is that reaction? How do you deliver that bad news to the industry?
Yeah, that's an interesting question that I'm surprised to say I haven't given a lot of thought to, partly because there's so much good news in this industry, in the supplement industry. So really not seeing, there's not that many categories where we have to say, especially in the last couple of years. Right now, however, it's all kind of like looking like, maybe there's a big slowdown for all the categories. But it's mostly good news for most categories for the last couple of years.
Okay, well, I'll let you skirt that question then.
Yeah. Okay.
Back to microbiome, postbiotics. What's up with them?
Postbiotics, I don't know. I mean, we don't have data on postbiotics. It's too new for us to be tracking as an ingredient. I think it's an interesting category. I know Stratum's pushing out an ingredient pretty strong, and it looks, and they've got some science behind it, and it looks good. And pardon me to all the other postbiotic ingredients being pushed out there that I didn't name you, but I think that'll be interesting. But it's too early from from a data perspective
all right.
to talk about.
In 3 years, maybe.
Maybe in 3 years.
Maybe in 3 years. All right. What else have you already presented on?
What else have I already presented?
Yeah.
Trends.
Okay. What are the trends?
And food tech. I don't know. Maybe I want to talk about food tech.
Okay.
Food tech. Juicy one. The precision fermentation question, which is. It's just a tough question. At least where Nutrition Business Journal sits we're in the New Hope business. New Hope runs the expos, and their precision fermentation is showing up as an ingredient, as a process for a lot of the meat and dairy analogs. And is it natural? And is it okay to have it on the show floor? And is it accepted in the marketplace? And there's not a clear answer to that question. So we just done a bunch of research recently in the industry and in consumers' minds just to see, is it okay? Because you can't simply draw a line on what is or isn't natural. If you try to draw that line, people have tried to draw that line.
Well, that's why FDA hasn't either, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. No one can define that. So with Natural Products Expo, it happens to be our first name, and it makes it tricky. But there's no clear answer to that question. So does precision fermentation belong in that marketplace? Does it aims to solve a lot of the problems, climate problems, that is very aligned with that industry.
Yeah.
But it might not be natural. It's not natural, according to, and this isn't me saying it, but according to our research, a lot of the natural products community says no. There's no room for that in the community right now. And especially not on the shelves at natural retailers.
Okay.
Consumers, on the other hand, think it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's what our research shows.
Okay, so I mean, of course it matters for a natural products expo, but like, does it matter that the natural products industry, like, this means like, oh, this is not going to go anywhere,
The reason it matters is that in the natural products industry, the retailer is the gatekeeper. These are the quality, they hold the quality standards for the industry, even though they vary.
Yes.
But they hold that quality torch, and so that brings up a whole other conversation. The natural products channel, here's some bad news that we have to deliver. The natural products channel is shrinking while mass market is growing and e-commerce is growing. But that channel is really important to the natural products industry because they're saying these ingredients are okay, these aren't, they're holding the standards. And if they're not on board with precision fermentation, then they have a problem because brands are making it and consumers are wanting it, or the brands have a problem because one of the most important channels isn't on board with what they're pushing out there. It's going to be really interesting over the next couple of years to see what happens.
I mean, and is there a difference between like a food product versus a supplement product and how that is manufactured to retailers?
There is such a big difference, and it's not one that I can explain, but precision fermentation ingredients exist in the marketplace already, and they have for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over SupplySide. I mean,
allulose, cellulose, vitamin C, a lot of aminos. It's already happening, and it's in those natural food stores. It's a sub-ingredient in a supplement, in the vitamin aisle. These natural retailers seem to be holding a different standard for their food aisles. Yeah. And so once you put a precision fermentation into your burger so your burger bleeds, then you're like, whoa. But if it's in a supplement, it's like, okay. You might argue that supplements aren't that natural to begin with, right? So that
but those were at Natural Products Expo. I won't get into
right? No, it's so complicated. We could just talk about it for hours and irritate all sorts of people with, as we rub up against different belief systems around, and it's important.
Yeah.
But I don't know the answers.
Well, we always come to you for the answers.
I know. Well, we have answers. NBJ has lots of answers. But
also questions.
But maybe more questions.
All right. What's coming up for you to talk about?
Like trends-wise?
Yeah. Oh no, that's you said you didn't want to talk about trends.
Well, no, I just said I wanted to talk about food tech more.
Okay.
Trends is cool. What's coming up? Like.
Yeah, you're going to talk about nootropics.
Nootropics are that's we did something interesting at NBJ. As I said, like postbiotics aren't on our radar. Well, they're certainly on our radar, but we're not tracking it as a category. Similarly, something like nootropics. What is that word? What does that mean? These things come into the marketplace, and so far we haven't been tracking nootropics as a category. NBJ tracks conditions, so we track brain health conditions is a broad term. Some of them are health conditions, some of them are just the condition of your existence, like men's health or women's health.
Oh.
These are conditions, as is bone and joint health.
Let me tell you, it's a condition.
And so nootropics is not a condition because it's going to overlap all sorts of other conditions, mood and mental health, brain health. So we'll track that as a subcategory, kind of the way we track adaptogens. And so we put together some numbers for my presentation tomorrow for the first time at NBJ.
Woo.
How big is the nootropics market? I'm not going to tell you here right now. You have to come to the presentation.
Have to come tomorrow.
And it's fun to do that. It's a really it's a very first estimate, but really pulling in the ingredients they're selling for brain health and for mood and mental health primarily is what we're looking at. But then there's adjacent things like sleep and even general health and other things that kind of roll up to nootropics. So,
gaming, e-gaming, all that, sports nutrition.
Well, gaming too, and it's hard. But one of the things we do, and our model does well at NBJ, is we can tell you for a specific ingredient the why of what it's, we don't just say vitamin D sold this much, we say it sold this much for immune health and it sold this much for brain health or bone health or whatever. So these ingredients, are they selling for brain health or for e-gaming or are they sort of
well, I'm excited to get the scoop tomorrow on the market size. Thank you so much for
absolutely. It's great
all of the you have to every outfit you prepare has to be able to use a microphone. Maybe that's not so much of a problem for men as it is for women. Sometimes it's like
that's right. I wore black today, so no one even knows I have a microphone.
Every single day we've got you on stage.
Yeah, right.
So thank you to you for all of the work you're doing this year for us, as well as to Rick Polito and Claire Morton, who you've mentioned. So.
Yeah.
And thanks for joining me on SupplySide TV.
Good. I was going to say SupplySide again.
Oh, of course. SupplySide at the SupplySide studio, on SupplySide TV, at SupplySide West. Also, broadcast through SupplySide Network 365.
Nicely done.
Take a drink every time I say SupplySide. Don't do that.
Don't do that yet.
That's too much.
Yeah, it's
all right.
too early.
Well, thank you again, Bill.
All right, thanks.
And that's it for me in the host chair. Next up, we'll have Cassie Smith joining to do more trends presentation or more trends interviews. Thank you.